There we go. So type one in the box so you can hear me. W King Math, Darkim Be I got sincere, divine understanding. Arabi. Can y'all hear me? All right. So yeah, the bread. Well, before we get started, SW, I wanted to ask you, uh, what's going on with Menendez? Y'all got a little what you call that? What was my man from DC? Y'all got a little situation going on with it. Like one thing about Menendez, you gotta give him credit. He's the best that ever did it. This is like his 8th indictment during the time he's been in office. You know, y'all gotta figure that out. I think that's how he might have got in office. Like I think somebody got in trouble. I think somebody else got indicted, and then somebody vacated their seat to take his seat, and then Menendez got that seat. New Jersey is real crooked. I figure out what's going on over there. But yeah, though, we had a couple of, we're gonna get to the what's the name and what year was that. Now look, y'all could go ahead and answer and what year is that, right? And but we're gonna get into it. It's a little bit of understanding. We're gonna draw that up. But you know, I had a run-in. I don't know if anybody was looking at the comment section. I don't know if anybody was looking at the comment section from the last video, but you know, I get busy in comments. So what's the cat's name again here? Rock 120. Rock 120, you know, he's been engaging me here. You know, he's of course still you know, excited. He's still excited about my comments dealing with he's still a little bit excited about my comments dealing with the 136. You know, so there's quite a bit of back and forth here. You know what I'm saying? I'll spare you. You know, if y'all want to check it out, you can go check out the comment section. You know, one thing that's funny here is, you know, he goes out of his way to I guess convince me that he's not that he's not the same individual that came on the live stream. You know, so that was a kind of, he thinks the lady duck protests too much. You know, eventually he tells me that uncle breaks down to you now comprehend language of English. But eventually he tells me that he was sparing me. He was saying that he was sparing me. Wait a minute. Because what is this here? Wait a minute. This was wait a minute. He must have deleted. He must have deleted. Oh, here it goes. Uncle is you. You now see hell every day. Yeah, and uncle means you now see hell every day. And then he's trying to explain to me the glory of Supreme Alphabet. I mean, you can check it out. But the thing that struck me, right, when I saw this, right, because see, this guy, he has to split his time. All these different people that you see, they come on the internet and they talk bad about the nation, right? In whatever capacity that they do it, right? In whatever capacity that they do it, they got to split their time. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy makes me have a whole new respect for Allah because, see, like I said, he's got to split his time between all of us that's out here teaching. This particular guy, this is the same J. Edgar right here. This is the same J. Edgar Hoover, right? This is the same J. Edgar Hoover right here that doctored up the tapes on Sunnis. You know what I'm saying? This is the same J. Edgar Hoover that's over on the law school in Mecca page, talking a little bit over there. So you guys spread it around to see with Allah, he's the only one that's out here teaching like that. So, the stalkers, they just get to zero in on one person, So, it just gives me another level of respect, I guess having experienced this right here, people kind of following you around, being worried about what you're saying, and you really have no idea why. So that was a little bit peculiar. But I don't see any answers coming up here for, in what year was that? And listen, I hope y'all not taking the time. I hope everybody's not quoting out the whole degree. I can help you out right there off the top. The answer is not quoting the degree. You can go into the degree and draw something up, but we don't need that. This is actually one of those, Is the brother in here? We had an interesting question here from another brother. What's your name here, brother? Double Edge 6579. Is Double Edge 6579 in the room right now? Just holler at us here in the comment box. I just told him that we was going live, so hopefully he's in here. So, we can get to the nitty gritty there of his question. But just a heads up, while he's, seeing if he's coming through or not. His question was in the comment box here. Speaking of etymology, so I guess he was watching the early part of the live when the sister was in it, right? Speaking of etymology, I looked up Europe and I wasn't taking lessons on face value. I couldn't find the root of it as far as meaning the rope to bind in. Are you able to find it, or can you build on that degree in one of your videos? So, here we are. But eventually he did say that He says here that you can Google EU though, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Oh no, what it says here. Oh, it said I looked up. All right, it says now I just looked up the entire word Europe and did find it means bounded by large bodies of water, which I didn't find equality months ago. When I look up just EU, the meaning still says good, looking for some clarity on it. So yeah, I didn't, double edged, there you go. So hold on, let me put this back in here. I don't know if you want to come up to the forefront here. No.
Universal saving. That's O-U-R. Because you know it's spelled two ways.
G-O-D, 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 Savior, Savior.
I got you.
Who's this here? Ulos al-Mansur Bilal. Al-Salamu al-Asulamu alaykuma. I mean, I know, assalamu alaikum to a large 5%. One only learns what one teaches self. Well, peace to you, Ulos al-Mansur Bilal. Welcome to the channel. Subscribe. But so yeah, we got that in there. Let's see if I don't know, we'll give you a minute or two to give Double Edge a minute or two to see. I don't know, do you want to click the link? Yeah, you're right about that, Prince Powerful. The like buttons, it does, it does something with the YouTube algorithm where we do get a lot more of our people in here. But Double S, do you care to come on to the live and discuss some of your research thus far on Europe? Okay, so I take it you don't want to come. Now, Europe, we talking about just the etymology of the word here, right? Europe, nobody really knows, there's several different legends about what is the origin of the word Europe. He said, Double S said, I looked up EU and wrote etymology. It came out as meaning good. You see, here's the thing that you got to realize, right? See, when you look it up, right? For instance, when you looked it up, what language did it say it came from? See, that's what I'm saying. You had a goddess, going back to Greek times that was named Europa. But getting back to what I was saying, though, one of the legends, right, of where the term Europe came from at one time that was circulating was that it came from the Ural Mountains, right? Now, rather that is the true origin of the word, right? Which it probably is not, right? the Ural Mountains is the eastern borderline of Europe, right? So, as we look at the continents, right? In some, I guess you would say maps or some understandings of continents, right? Eurasia is one continent. And so that's what separates West Asia. Now, when you research into the etymology of the word Ural, right? It comes from two words in the Russian language, and then whichever languages that the Russian is derived from, two words meaning stone and belt. You see what I'm saying? So, it's a little bit of a stretch there. But, you got the stone, which is the, mountainside. I guess that's a little bit of a stretch from hillside. And you have the belt, which is the rope to bind in to separate Western Asia from the rest. Yes. So, you put the question here, stone belt. Yes, the Ural Mountains is a stone belt separating Western Asia from the rest of it. So you said, I was looking for it as it says in the degrees Europe, meaning rope to bind in. It says Phoenicians in Greek and Latin. I mean, this research that you did right here, this is correct. You understand what I mean? But when you asking me about the degree, right? The degree is referring to the Ural Mountains. So you said understand and understood. I don't know. Anybody else got any? Anybody else got any? Questions before we get into and what year was that? What is everybody? Does everybody think this is a trick question or something you don't want to answer? And what year was that? Really, out of 24 people in here, we got some scholars, 1, 2. See, first of all, look, and this is always a question, right? Look, what is that? And he said, and what year was that? And what year was what? The year you got the knowledge? The year the towers fell? D-Day? What's that? See, that's problem solving. That's how you got to deal with the science of mathematics. Am I in here by myself today? What's the deal? Should we just go ahead and retire from those video games? Anyone view it? Hold on, is everybody having technical difficulties? All right, here we go. True self. 8,400, if I'm not mistaken. When that degree, though, I have heard. Okay, so true self doesn't even know the degree, but he's giving it a shot. What's the rest of y'all? So I mean, is that what it is? Nobody on here knows 120 today. But indeed, as per the degree, you are correct. 8,400. Anyone else? Let me ask y'all a question. Is this a type of situation, right, where you have questions that you want to ask, right? But then, for whatever reason, whenever it's still live, you can never think of it? Like when your car is making a noise, but whenever you go to the mechanic, you stop making a noise. So divine understanding said 8,367. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? The high scholars out here, come on. Where's the 24 scientists here? Where's the Hey, you know another question, Double Edge? I saw you put on the what's the name, but I think you erased it. And I don't know, you said something about the pauses between the videos or something. What did you mean by that? Did you mean like when I paused, when I'm talking? So I got sincere said is what year was that? It's referring to what year, is it referring to what year the devil was made? That's what the degree is referring to. True. So that's that happened to you a few times when you had a question, and then when you got to the live, you couldn't recall it. King Master said, I'm still knowledge in 120 on the understanding degree and in 114. So I'm not familiar with the degree you're referring to, but I'm doing the knowledge. King Math, check this out. Even though you're not on that degree, you're gonna catch this right here. See, some things, let me tell you something. You might don't be to that degree yet, right? You gotta do the knowledge. Just keep things on cap. You know what I'm saying? And then in time, when you need that knowledge is gonna be like bing. Like right in time when you need it, that's when you're gonna understand it. But this one right here is, trust me, you're gonna, as you know, this right here, see the key thing here is the math. Oh, the pauses before the video starts. Yeah, a lot of times that's technical difficulties. You know what I mean? I gotta, really I've been shuffling everything around, so I don't have, I gotta get my setup back where I come back on, got my theme music and all of that, but y'all don't pay the big bucks over here. If I was selling y'all fake real estate or something, then I have these state of the art. Because right now, we get the video games. That's why, we do the video games and the boxing. That's why I spend my money. So yeah, True Self, you laugh. Shout out to True Self, a couple other brothers that I got sincere that they got memberships, channel memberships. You know what I'm saying? A couple other brothers with the cash out. So, shout out to them. They overlook that. You know what I'm saying? All right now. See, this is Born Alive is starting to lead you in the right direction here, where he says, in the context of 120, it's referring to the birth of the devil, but I will hope that none of us is making the devil, but the math says wisdom equality. Let's dig into that. You see, when you dig into the math, this is where we're going to simplify it down. That's what you do with math. Anyone else? So King Math, we're gonna come back to you. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is the wisdom equality review, right? And what year was that? Now, this is a little fine line here. I don't know if we ever went over this, right? But see, when after the first 10 days of the month, right? In the 1 and 10, you're just gonna repeat the degrees. See what I'm saying? So the 1 and 10 after 14 days, the 1 and 14, those expired. Right? The 1 and 36 and the 1 and 40, they run through the whole month, right? You would never repeat the degree. Right? So the answer in math, give us today's degree in the 1 and 36. I think math is those who gave you knowledge is watching. Yourself. King math. No, not nowadays. So see, like the guy said, right? In this day and time, and what year was that? Not nowadays. That's not what you should be doing. You see, that was a simple one. We didn't even got to go deep. You see how that works? See how that works? How the science and mathematics, we got to take the lesson, right, and draw it up to something what it means for us right now. See, like the guy said, we're not caught up in that. Right? Because we're not dealing, first of all, with Yakub's law of unlike attract and like repel. You see? We dealing with like is one and unlike repel. You see? So from the jump, we're not doing what he was doing. That was what it was predicted of him to do before he was born, right? What God said about us. He said his best is yet to come. That gotta mean us that wasn't there right then at that time. Our Lord, right? We're supposed to give peace and happiness, not death, hell, and destruction. You see all that apocalypse and shit that you hear the devil talk about because they don't never come out right. They stay in hell and get destroyed. You see what I'm saying? So in all these days right here in the 20s, right? Like the God born said, right? Is you making the devil? Especially to all of those of y'all who say you don't have to study the lesson because you are the lesson. Those that say you don't have to study the lesson, you live them out. This is the science of dealing with mathematics. You see what I'm saying? You got different polarities, the integers and all that, the positive and the negative. See what I'm saying? This is how the simplicity of the mathematics, the simplicity of the mathematics, is able to do it. You got to stay right here on the ground sometimes. So we go all the way over there. We can go back into history, right? And deal with, the origin of Europe and all of that. But like I said, right now, we can deal with all that, all the greatness. But see, a lot of that, that's just telling you what the potential is. Until you can put that stuff into the kinetic form where it means something right now, you might as well just go back to church and sing the hymns. Where you don't know what those people, what the experience was originally that caused the people to come up with their art like that, how they wrote that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was a simple one. Like I said, we don't have to. Well, I don't think I do elaborate too much. But our brother Dumont, Universal, the Flavor Man, those were some of the first brothers that showed me how to cross-reference the lessons like that. See, that's why you got to know the whole 120. See how some of y'all see, look, when I told y'all the answer, it was that simple. It was right there in the lessons. But some people was like, see, I'm not on that degree yet, so you got to have the whole thing so you can understand the whole thing. You can't have a part of the knowledge and expect to have the whole understanding. You got to have 360 degrees of knowledge, right? 360 degrees of wisdom, and then you get 360 degrees of understanding. Other than that, you're always going to understand a part of it, because, like I said, the simplest example is the power degree in the 1 and 10. It tells you the total square miles. You got to get to the 1 and 40 now, and it breaks down the total square miles of land and the total square miles of water. Now, to deal with the total square miles of land, you got to know your 1 and 10. You got to know your useful land, but then you got to go up into your actual facts. You got to know about your deserts and your hills and mountains. And you got to know about the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, the Indian Ocean, the Arctic Ocean. It's right there. But if you stuck right there on the 1 to 10, saying you're trying to understand it, no, you're not going. It's not going. It don't work like that. If you don't know the whole numbers, if you can't count from 1 to 9, they're not going to be able to show you algebra. She said here, double X, 1100 minus 2600 equals 8400. Oh, I said, okay. 11,000. That's what that's what you threw me up. 1100. Hey, wait a minute. Okay, yeah, 11,000 minus 2,600. Oh yeah, you just doing yeah. You know what I'm saying? How do you cross right here? So that's what you got that? You understand the cross referencing? Because look, that's like I said, man, you don't want cross reference for Duma. You, hey, listen, you better get a pen and a pad. You know, with those brothers, you have to know your lessons. Because if you don't know your lessons, they can't really. Because, like I said, if you don't know, then you're gonna be lost as to just some of the basics of what they say. When I said wisdom equality is about transitioning, for example, being unaware to knowing, from being without to having. Now people will ask, what year is that, by asking, when did you get knowledge, et cetera, et cetera. Indeed. You see what I'm saying? That's about what is the fruit of your labor. You see what I'm saying? And people would start, people would ask about when the devil was made, because that's what Yakub did. Did you make that transition? Yourself. But yeah, this is that, I'm gonna tell you something. But wait a minute. Wait a minute, hold up. Let me go back though. You said 2023 minus 1933 is 30 years, so 8,400 minus 90. Okay, why would you minus the 90 for the 8,400? There's no reason. There's no reason to. There's no reason to subtract the 90 and then, if anything, what you would do here, right, is you would say, first of all, you pick 1933, and we're talking about the 1 to 40 here, right? So the 120 lessons, right, is 1 to 10, 1931, 1 to 14, 1933, 1 to 36, and 1 to 40, 1934. So that's one thing. We'd be calculating from 1934, right? And what you would be doing is saying that 1934 is 15,020 in the Asiatic calendar, and then you would be adding 90 to that. I think that's the calculation. Prince Powerful says, so if you haven't mastered 120 completely, the best thing to do is just shut up and listen, or can we build on simply what we just know? I mean, it depends on the cipher. You know, you got to be the best knower of that. Is that, you know, if you're in a situation where you can learn, then yeah, that's probably the best thing to do. You know what I'm saying? But you know, at the same time, look, ain't nothing between you and the lessons, but an opportunity. You know, like if you plan on taking 10 years to learn 120, then yeah, you might as well shut up and listen. You know, but you know, it's real time. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's you know, that's one of the things about being a master. Right? So when you a master, you know, in different ciphers, right, you able to identify when you got to be a captain, when you got to be a lieutenant, and when you got to be a private soldier. See, you could get caught up in your ego, right, and then you want to be the captain of all the good shit, right? But then what happened when the bad shit comes? You ready to be the leader then? You ready to be the point man then? You ready to be the person? See, because look, just like you get all the praise, right? When things go wrong, guess who's getting all the blame? That's just the way it goes, right? Much is given, much is required. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, there's going to be instances where, you know, it's best that you do the knowledge. But there's going to be other instances where you got to step up, you see what I mean, and be responsible because these people around you don't have the knowledge to be responsible. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, that's not even the level, that's not even God level. That's just, as a man, you got to understand those things right there. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, these things right here, they don't measure you to, you know, take you from 7 to now you 6 because you're a private soldier. You see what I'm saying? It's just about the role that you got to play in order for that cipher to be successful. You see what I mean? So there's some things, like for instance, we, you know, a lot of times, you know, you talk about things that got to be done at the school, right? They start talking about construction. You know, I don't know anything about construction, you know, the plan and everything. You know, people be talking to me like, yeah, God, you know, we got to get the sheet right, you know, this right here, we got to take this off. Man. I don't know what the hell are you talking about. But look, if you need me to carry something from over here to over there, I can do that. You see what I'm saying? So you got to know and understand and be able to accept that right there. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's life. Ulos Al-Mansur Bilal said, firstborn prince taught us to be diligent by studying and learning 120 degrees, right? Exactly, because these said 8 lessons cross-reference each other. Perceptions, everything, how everybody sees it differently. You know, that's you know, perception, right? And you say everybody sees it differently, right? What do you mean by that? Because here's, before you answer, right, here's my point. You said see. So, you know, yeah, we visualize things with the third eye, but we also visualize things with our 2 eyes. And, you know, see means to see, right? So even if we just visualize something with our third eye, right? Somebody's giving us knowledge and wisdom, right? And from the knowledge and wisdom, the visualization I get is of a Black man, right? And the visualization you get in your mind is of an apple. one less is a little bit of, is physically it's the same thing. Where, if we're looking at something, you see, meaning like this is what I'm saying. If we're looking at a car and I'm standing in the front of the car and you standing in the back of the car, right? You looking at it, we looking at it from different perspectives, right? And you're going to describe what you see from your perspective, and I'm going to describe what I see from my perspective. But as we going through our understanding, right, it should start to become evident that we're looking at the same thing. So when you say we see it differently, I say that, I see it differently from you because I see it from my perspective. But I don't mean that you see a car and I see an apple. You understand what I'm saying? Like you wouldn't, let's take another form of understanding, right? Let's take another form of understanding, right? And look. Whatever, however you look, right? However you look, right? And you look at your child, right? And they look totally different. Like they don't even look the same, the same human family. They don't look like they from the same nation of people. Right? And your earth, your wife, your girl, peace.
I'm been here a minute. You was here all this time?
Yeah.
I was up here a couple hours.
Yeah, I see that.
Oh.
God.
Right? You got peace, y'all. I can't walk.
Yeah, you got peace.
And what's with the door falling off?
Nah, they just believe in it. That mean you can't.
They
You can't hardly reach back up there. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they did.
This whole thing for the come on. Come down.
Oh.
Yeah. Right? And now, let's say the child comes out, and you look at the child, you're like, this child is not even from the same nation of people as me, right? But then your wife says, yeah, well, see, I see it differently, right? That's from my understanding. My understanding is different than your understanding. So this is how it manifests. Wouldn't you say like, whoa. It's true. The baby, right, got, part of it comes from you, and part of it comes from me.
Hey.
Right? Wait, how did you get this understanding that's totally devoid? Like I can't see it. I can't see it at all. How is that? But I'm asking you though, what should I call you here? Because that's Bulos Alman Sur Bilal. What should I call you?
Shot. I'm out of here. Piece of God. They didn't roll the glass.
Those.
Hey, let's get out of here.
How you see it? Peace.
Please, love you, man. I'll see you when I'll be back on Saturday.
All right,
You on Saturday?
Yeah. The dude should I find. It's Rock 120.
Who is he?
Come on, man.
But how can I find him so I could see him in the flesh and we can see the tough Tony shit and how well that works out for us.
He's about to be right now, man.
Oh,
Look, and I try to tell him I'm not.
are you live right now?
Yeah.
Hey, Rock 120, man, what's going on, baby? Come to a law school. Let's build, man. It's True Born My Law. You know the one you always talking bad about. Come on. Ain't no refinement and power. I'm a sucker. Half original, savage. Come. Let's build, man. Let's go, baby. What happened? The law school, 2122 7th Ave, New York, New York, 10027, lot number 1932. Come on down, baby.
Listen,
Come on.
I don't think you need no more information than that to pull up.
Come on. I hang out, bro. Just say you coming. Word is bond, bond is life. I hang out, bro. I'll stay here for as long as you want me to, bro. And I'm like, this not no threats or nothing. You know, we can go through lessons, we go through whatever you want to go through, bro. Because it's nothing you can beat me in. It's nothing. It's nothing you can beat me in, mentally or physically. That's a fact. You know why? Because you hide behind this here, and here it is. We here in the flesh. You understand? Changing people's lives by giving them these life-giving teachings. This eternal life. You giving eternal death by talking shit behind the keyboard. Sucker. Little clown. Yo, peace, dog.
Peace, right?
Hey, hold on. And he teach power refinement, and I love him. Sucker. Bullshit. Yo, peace, guy. I love you.
Peace. So this here, peace of God. Wait, Dr. Allah. I know this name. Where you from? Dr. Allah. I remember, I know this name. Oh, that's him too? He's Captain McDaniel too? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, who does that? Who goes around, like, you got all these aliases that you making up. You know what I'm saying? You got 1,000 aliases that you, hey, bro, man, we grown men, man. You gotta stop, man. You gotta stop, man. You gotta stop. Where you from, though, Dr. Akil? Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yeah, I know you know. Where when you what grown man making aliases? Look, besides him and what's my man name that he play in Arizona now? Kevin Durant. But Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yeah, nah, I don't. How long you had the knowledge? You always rested in Tulsa, Oklahoma? You was taught by firstborn principal. Okay, I mean, listen, that's a lot of people that never impresses me. So you was in New York, and what year was that? I was just, we was on the road. We had a good, you know, it took us a while to get in here, but we had a good hour run. Yeah, here comes Clubby Lane. I'm not sure. What year was this we talking about? El Divine. Okay. So in 1986 is when Prince taught you? All right, man, Steph. So this is you mentioned it was kind of action packed today. It's a little bit action, it's a little bit action packed. Okay, look, this is a good try right here, Abdul Rahman. But we don't have Muslim names. Divine Abdul Allah. See, listen, and this is an important thing here, man. If you can't let that go, you got to go back. And if you can't let the religious aspects of Islam go, then you got to go back. So in 1986, you met Prince. And that's when you got the knowledge. And then you went back to Oklahoma. I noticed, I can't, I don't know why you're being cagey, because I know this name. I'm trying to place you. You had the knowledge of 1986. I move back and forth because I have family and now. All right, well, yeah. Look, it was just we having a party because we're seeing God Supreme and True Born. You got me in the building, and now there's you. So I guess we got quite a few of people who was taught by Firstborn Prince here. But I guess in your travels going back and forth, I must have. I don't know how I heard your name, but I've definitely heard that before. Well, back to whatever it is, there's Steph Soul, but yeah, we so what did we cover already today? We covered the why it says EU and ROPE. EU means hillside and ROPE meaning the rope to bind it. We covered that. We covered the science of using mathematics to solve some problems and get some meaning out of these lessons. Our good brother Dumar YD used to always say, make the lessons walk and talk. You see what I'm saying? Because when you're looking at the lessons on the page, right, on the paper, that's 2 dimensions. You see what I'm saying? See, with your understanding, people like to say that, right? Like, yo, that what you said, like that was deep. It's not deep, it's high when I say it, right? What I'm saying is that's that 3rd dimension, right? When you gain understanding from it, where you can make it walk and talk. You see what I'm saying? Where man got 6 sides. Top, bottom, front, back, left, right. But I digress into people. Hey, listen, who's but is anybody on here? You remember the biochemical reconstructive terms of mathematics? They just see to those of y'all that's a little bit newer. Listen, at one time, that was like if you had the biochemical reconstructive terms of mathematics, you was people knew. You was high powered. We going back to high school days. He said the guys call me the country guy because I'm an actual doctor. We know the same guys, et cetera, et cetera. Guys called you the country guy. Well, there's a couple of brothers like that. That you're an actual doctor. So maybe that's probably what I know you from. That's probably what I know you from. I probably somewhere down the line, somebody told me that we got an actual doctor in the nation, and they probably told me your name. But I've heard that before. Yeah, Dumont was very instrumental up in Mecca, Massachusetts. You know what I'm saying? With bringing the knowledge up there and everything. So yeah, we discussed that. What else did we discuss here? Said the 4th degree in the 114 is heavy, and I still don't got all the blessings to that lesson yet. Still developing that understanding. I gotta watch this whole stream from the foundation. Well, we didn't really touch on the 4th degree, but since you brought that up, what is it? What part you don't understand? That's a master question. Shout out to Sahin. What part you don't understand? Oh, actually, I see why you said that. Yeah, I'm wrong. We did touch. That's where you get your side of ROPE comes from. See, it might be off point, but I don't stay off point. Okay, so when you go back through the video, we went through how the term Europe, it's actually difficult to trace the actual origin. There's several legends of where the name may have come from, right? And one of them was that it was named after the Ural Mountains, which is probably not true because the name Ural Mountains is really from like the 1700s, right? But the Ural Mountains is the eastern border of Europe, right? It's the eastern border separating West Asia from the rest of Asia. And when you look up the origins, the etymology of the Ural Mountains, it comes from two words that mean stone and belt. We went into a little more detail, earlier, so you can go back and check that out. And of course, You all gotta look that up for yourself. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to get religious here where we start believing this shit just because I said it. Double S said the fourth degree also deals with Exodus. Double S said, wasn't it called Eurasia? It's still called Eurasia. Knowledge God. You said, and Musa in that history, is that the story of Moses? And if so, what did he teach? Okay, so we got let's first deal with Exodus. Right. And so it's funny that you bring up what you said, Steph. So, right. And what you saying, Double Edge, right? Is the Exodus in the fourth degree or in the second degree in the 114? So now you said the black man is God, or so you saying here, so you said in Musa, in that history, is that the story of Moses? And if so, what did he teach? The black man is God or Christianity? Okay, now it's not the end or the be all, right? But have either of y'all how much other of Elijah Muhammad's writings pertaining to these topics have y'all dealt with? You see, because here's the thing you got to realize, right? You got these same stories, they being told, right? They being told by the Hebrew writers, they're being told by the Sumerian writers, they're being told by the Christian writers, they're being told by the Muslim writers, and we have our questions asked by W.D. Fard, answered by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, one of the lost and found here in the wilderness of North America. You see what I'm saying? And so with this, type of question right here, right? I gotta ask you how much other let's do this steps. Let's do this. Right. In the culture degree, it says Musa came 2,000 years later, right? And then what does it say? Okay, so you haven't read too much of Elijah Muhammad. So let's stick with the degrees then, right? Musa comes 2,000 years later and does what? Anybody can answer that by the ways, so we can move right along. Double-edged said taught trick knowledge. That's not it. Right? Okay, taught them how to live a respectful life. He put respectful life, how to build a home for himself. Right, steps over, you got it, right? Taught them how to live a respectful life, how to build a home for himself, and some forgotten trick knowledge that Yakub taught him, which was devilishment, right? Now, what do well, we don't want to get into, we don't want to get into trouble with Don Bishop here, so I don't recall exactly how this is supposed to go. But look, the Jews, the Hebrews, Israelites, et cetera, right? What do they say is Moses' teaching? What do they say was his teaching? Anyone? Canaanite and Egyptian influences, okay? Canaanite and Egyptian influences, right? But those influences culminated in what? It culminated in the Torah. That's what they say. Those is the 5 books of Moses, right? And in the 5 books of Moses, right, there's laws in there about being civilized. How to eat, how to treat your brother, how to treat women, et cetera, et cetera. And it's also in there about their lineage and about them being the chosen people and about how it's okay to treat other people different than they treat themselves. Now, Christianity, right? Remember, Moses, right? Musa is 11,000, right? Jesus is 13,053. You understand? That Christianity is something, and then even that, Jesus is 13,053. But look, it's not, it's over 1,000 years later before Christianity is what we know it to be. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta kind of keep these, you gotta keep these dates. You see what I mean? It's good to know that this is the date right now, right? We know the date that the devil was made, but we gotta keep track of those dates that's in between. So those was Musa's teachings. Those teachings being absorbed into Christianity, that's millennia later. Supreme Justice. Supreme Justice, have you ever seen the biochemical reconstructed terms of mathematics? Didn't we have it? Did I skip over a question? Yeah, that was that was like a degree, that was like right under the tape of Allah speaking. Like, see, now that's like almost you get that up front now. You just you come and you say, I'm interested in now, and they give you the tape of Allah speaking. When I got it, that was something where, first of all, for you to know somebody that had it. You know what I'm saying? It's already. But then people was a little more concerned with your ability to digest whatever it was that they gave you. Double S said, I'm breaking down an approximation to help my memory. 2,000 years ago, Jesus, 2,000 years before that, Moses, 2,000 years before Musa was Adam, 1,300 years from today, 1,400 years from today was Muhammad's time. Okay. Now, what you're doing is something interesting here. You're doing something interesting here, right? And I think I see what you're doing, right? You're saying that the Bible is written out of sequence, right? And that Yaqub is not a descendant of Adam, as it suggests in the Bible, but that you're saying that Adam is a descendant of Yaqub's people, 59,999. Is that about what you're saying right here? So, well, what did the plus lesson refer to? I mean, it was it was actually a whole bunch of factual, but it was just something that this was it was just knowledge wasn't on the internet. That's the best I can tell you, is that at that time, getting access to knowledge, that shit was like the elixir of life. You know what I'm saying? So, things that other people, you might be, people warned you. When you got the knowledge back in the day, people like, yo, you sure you want to do that? Like people in your family and your friends and everything. But being that, like you had to, 120, you couldn't buy it on Amazon. You couldn't just come, you couldn't just come and ask for it. So, a lot of lessons was like that. 120 was like that, to a certain degree. He said, not going all the way back to in the beginning, but for Yaqub's rapid devil, yes. Well, see, this is what I'm saying. Because the way you got this right here, right? See, 2,000 years ago would be Jesus, right? 2,000 years before that would be Moses. And then 2,000 years before that would be Jacob, right? 6,000 years. You see what I'm saying? But, and, because I've heard this before. In terms of the Bible being out of sequence right there. But, before you get to remember it from Jacob, then you got Isaac, Abraham, Noah, all these different, so. Right, in the Bible, it has Jacob come, right, it has Jacob coming after Adam, but this is what I'm saying, this, what you put here is a little bit different version of the history as it's recorded in the Bible. Abdul Rahman said Amazon, 120 lessons on Amazon popped up in his feed. I would say that that's because you're phony. So the phony lessons came up in your feed because, I've been on the internet since the 90s. It has never come up in my feed, so I don't know what to tell you. So Double Edge here is saying Yaqub was 600 years before Adam. I mean, listen. This is that's I'm not that interested in that particular topic. You know what I'm saying? But it's something that, whatever is the understanding in there, that's up to you to draw it out. But who knows? But yeah, we got any other questions? Any other questions? Bill said mindset. What do you mean mindset? Now I'll see the other question before that. You mean all the way up here when you said, what does the plus lessons refer to? Yeah. Interesting. You gotta watch if they don't like what you ask, you might have to reword it. I don't know. What was the question? Peace. Oh, no, it's not there. I don't see nothing about Elijah. Freedom culture. I mean, at the end. For question from Certified Bill. Yeah, I think it did it to you again because I see it says also Yaqub, Jacob are synonymous. And then it says lastly, was Yaqub, Jacob just a mindset? So we haven't I thought we got over that hump. Remember we had about a month and a half. We had about a month and a half in the beginning of the Random Jews network where remember the Mythbuster? Whatever happened to the original Mythbuster? That we dealt with this. I don't know what's the other parts. It just says also Yaqub, Jacob synonymous. Lastly was Yaqub, Jacob, just a mindset. Yeah, I don't know, the YouTube. Hey, 793rd. We was waiting for you too. We need some kind of explanation on what's going on with Menendez. This man is more Teflon than John Gotti. They keep they're saying that they got him this time, but they said that the last 7 times he got indicted. That he's got to get indicted at least every other year. But the history that's in the Bible, right, is over thousands of years. You know what I'm saying? So after thousands of years, regardless to whom or what, these people become characters. You know what I'm saying? Even if the story is actual and historical, right? These people become characters unless it's something that you're drawing up and making it real right now. You understand what I'm saying? So, regardless to whom or what in this day and time, yeah, Yakub is just a mindset. You know, this is what we have to recognize now, because see, if we see him just as the historical character, then we don't recognize when the person is coming around us right now, right? Causing separation and then gratification. You know, but you know, in terms of, like I said in the very beginning, you know, with the original Mythbuster, you know, we went through that in terms of you know, a lot of people, you know, when I the historicity, the historicity of the people in one tree. I don't know what the other parts were, but
He got him out.
peace. Yeah, I'm about to not gonna be here too much longer myself. Yeah, that's all you can do. You know what I'm saying? With all these lessons, right? You got to draw them up because, you know, see, it's just like when you know, we look at 196,940,000 square miles. You know, what can anybody do with that? You know, there's something that you got to draw up from all the signs. You know, otherwise, you know, even the stuff that is real, it becomes trivial. See what I'm saying? Like if you letting devils inhabit your planet right now, then the 10th degree is just some trivia about a historical event. You see what I'm saying? It's not until you draw it up that then it means something. You know, and you know, really even you draw it up, but when you apply it, then you show and prove to me. You see, I don't know if you did the knowledge to yesterday's live too. Is that see, once you pass the 40th degree, the devil is off your planet. That's what you said. So therefore, you know, all those different things that's in the lesson, that history, right? You're supposed to have rows above that. So now you control what you're dealing with, you know, and what happens to you. Here I see Yakub is both mindset and in the flesh. But the devil exists here on the physical plane. He made devil by grafting from original, which means he saw that inside the original man to manifest. Now, I'm not sure what you mean by this here, right? But let me ask you a question. It took 600 years to make the devil, right? And Yakub was 33 when he got to the. Now, I don't see the next question itself, I built. Yakub was 33 when he got to the island, and then he only lived to be 150, right? So, why does the culture degree say, why did we run Yakub and his maid devil? Yeah, but self-build, you gotta learn how to code your questions correctly because Illuminati doesn't like them. Supreme Justice said that's why there are a lot of gods who question the obvious, not just 120, though in their life and life itself, they haven't risen above their own Yakubian mindset. Yeah, like I told people yesterday, they took from him everything except their language and kept running with it. So double edged, you said determine idea. What is that? Why'd you put that? But that was the question, why does it say, why did we run Yakub and his maid devil? Nah, see, self-out bill, you caught up in the Illuminati right now. The only thing that keeps coming through is you saying if I see what you wrote. But I don't ever see what you wrote. Okay, so when I say why did we run Yakub and his made devil for the root of civilization, you said that, why does it say that? Because the term idea. Can you build when the knowledge degree and the 1 to 14? So again, look, what part you don't understand in the knowledge degree and the 1 to 14? But you right there, double edge, right? Is that, regardless, that was the idea. Yakub still provided the idea, right? Because see, look, even the devil had to be taught to do that devilishment. So everything they came with and everything they had to leave with started with that determined idea before even Yakub was born. You see what I'm saying? So see, right there in and of itself, you have to respect that it's saying a mindset. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know if this is what you were saying. I'm going back to the brother who said they see it as a mindset and in the flesh, right? Through the colored man being the embodiment of that mindset. But I don't know if that's what you meant. So we got Prince Powerful has come into the and Powerful has come into the live over here.
Peace.
Peace.
My question was, again, could you build on the knowledge degree in the 1 to 14?
Yeah, I mean, which aspect of it? Sure.
My fault, I couldn't hear you. You said what?
Like which aspect of the degree, like because it's pretty cut and dry, you know.
I'm saying like I asked that question because
Mhm,
yesterday when I asked when you got the lessons,
mhm.
like did you just like master quoting the lessons without really building on them? Like far as like if a guy asked you, all right, God, how do you see the wisdom degree in a 1 to 10, and you quote that degree, but
Mhm.
do you actually, if a guy asks you, okay, God, so what does that mean? That's what I mean by build. Like, were you able to build on the lessons? Did you actually just do what you had to do as far as quoting 120? Then after you did that, you went back to build on them? That's what I was asking.
Right. So see, this is a cultural question right here. Where I like it a lot of times I tell people that, you can have our knowledge, right? But you're not a part of our culture. You know what I'm saying? So back then, uh we had ciphers.
All right.
And these was fairly organized, uh what's the word for it? I wouldn't say an event, but basically uh the cipher was that's where you went to do your growth and development. So in the cipher, every day when you came outside, there was different places wherever, brothers was there congregating or whatever was the case, right? And when we went there, everybody quoted their lessons, and after you quoted them, you manifested what was your understanding, whatever you drew up from it. You see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so by doing that daily, the growth and development and the practice, that's how we built it up. You see what I'm saying? And just in terms of like you saying, like when we greeted each other, right? That would be in the order, like let's say in the first four things that was said. You know what I mean? Like I might see you and say, peace, God, you know what I mean? How you doing? How you see today's mathematics. So you was building on a degree, like say for me, right? I might be in 8 ciphers, like say on just a regular day, when I come out before school, there's a cipher. You know what I'm saying? In the lunchroom, there's gonna be probably a couple ciphers. You know what I'm saying? After school, we're gonna have a cipher. Then we're gonna go up to the big park, it's gonna be a cipher. Mel Quan and them is probably gonna come up from the valley, we're gonna have a cipher. you know, some other people who, we see some stragglers over there coming through the neighborhood. We're gonna have a cipher, all these different things. So and then on top of that, we're much younger. So our minds is much more open and all of this is kind of being burned into us. You see what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
We just had a lot more practice, but it was just this is informal. You understand what I'm saying? But we had a more formal way to make sure that everybody grew and developed. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, in terms of you had your homework, right? You went to your house and studied your lessons or whatever, right? Now, some people like myself, I was around good brothers where I didn't necessarily even have to go home. You know what I mean? I could go around the brothers and I might be on, whatever degree it is. And I'll quote the part of the degree that I knew. And then the brothers would tell me the rest of the degree, word of mouth. So there's some lessons that I learned like that. But the people who call themselves teachers today, right, is not as they're not as into the detail, in terms of making sure that, you get the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You know what I'm saying? Even in terms of like, see today, right? You buy 120 lessons.
Yeah.
Download it or whatever. See, in my time, you had to come, right? And say you was on the 1 to 10 and you wanted to get your 1 to 36, you had to quote the whole 1 to 10. You see what I'm saying? And then you got the next lesson, but it was like it wasn't, you get a lot of downtime now. It wasn't a lot of downtime back in the days in terms of dealing with the knowledge. You see what I'm saying? So that's where that growth and development came from. And where a lot of the accomplishments came from too. You know what I mean? In terms of things that God did and accomplished, is that, we're amongst each other. So that magnetic that's created from just us being together, and then us increasing that through the science of building, that's how a lot of things happen. That's how people saw us and was influenced by what we was doing and saying.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
That makes sense. That makes sense.
it's you gotta remember that you gotta prepare yourself. See, that's what might be happening with you too, right? Is that you don't have other brothers that you growing and developing with. You see what I'm saying? Meaning, like, say, like when you see young lions and they, play fighting or whatever, but they're growing and developing into the hunters that they're gonna be. You see what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
like right now, you're conversing with me. So now it's in terms of the time and the experience that we had, the knowledge is a big difference. You know what I'm saying? But when you're growing up with people, and when you're kids, right? Kids is just competitive that way. So when you're growing up with people that, y'all in the same degree. I had a brother like that, where we was battling from, I would say, the born degree in the 1 to 14 all the way through 120. Me and him was going back. Like, whenever I see him, how you see the day's degree? Because, and this is my man. This is a brother I used to be with every day, man. But we was in that competition on who was going to get 120, who was going to get 120 first. You see what I'm saying? And, there was, like, for instance, when you come into those ciphers, right? Let's say we're dealing with today's mathematics, right? And you in the cipher with 30 people, right? Now, there's a high probability that somebody might say what you was getting ready to say.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
now you have to use your creative power. See, now you got to really have a grasp of the principles that you're speaking on. You see what I'm saying? In order to be able to manifest. So these are different things that you learn as the rules within the culture. So, like, for instance, when we was in the cipher, right, and you deal with the degree, right, no, not nowadays, right? So now you got to manifest your understanding. If you didn't, brothers would say that. Brothers might say, yo, how you see today's degree in 1 to 36? And after you say that, right, brothers say manifest. So now you gotta say how you draw it up. Our first thing was we was taught to use the mathematics to draw everything up. You see what I'm saying? So see, when you say no, not nowadays, because a wise man is going to rise above that equality. You understand what I'm saying? Instead of getting caught up in the wisdom and the equality. But this is all just growth and development. You know, the more you come around your coaching, you be around people. See, that's what I'm saying. That a lot of people look at the questions and everything, how you see the day's degree as a bad thing. You see what I'm saying? Or somebody is chastising you, but at the same time, how else do we get into these conversations where we deal with that? See what I'm saying? So, like you're saying, on like you said, if you was talking about the knowledge degree, first it's telling you about what the original man did first. See, before all this shit, before everybody else, we already pick the best part for ourselves and put them out on the worst part. But these are things you gotta keep studying the lessons. And I'm gonna tell you another thing, you gotta keep speaking them. It ain't that part right there about going to the cipher and manifesting it. You understand what I mean? It's like with anything else. You can watch, like the guy Boyne made me laugh a couple weeks ago when he said, look, I done bought every Kung Fu movie out. Can't do a lick of karate. At some point, you're gonna have to put that into practice. You see what I'm saying? You're gonna that speaking it part and that living it part. Like, see, it's like, look, I don't even know where to buy a pig. I mean, like, I know you could get it at the supermarket, but I'm saying, like, the restaurants where they got pig, I don't even know where to get that because I don't be buying that. It's just, like, if you ask me and press me, I bet, okay, yeah, you could probably get a ham sandwich at this place, but I don't know how much it costs. Because I put it into activation. So what I'm saying is now I've learned certain things, where to eat, where to take my kids that's safe. You know what I'm saying? The knowledge that takes for me to live out my culture. You see what I'm saying? So it's those is the things, what kind of, bread do you buy? See, if you're not practicing dietary law, when you go to the wishing lane, you don't know which bread to buy. But you got to put that into practice. You see what I'm saying? It's certain things, certain brands, I don't even look at that. But if you're not practicing dietary law, that's never going to develop. And it's the same thing with wisdom and understanding. You know what I'm saying? It's never going to develop without you speaking. Double S said that carrot in the cipher is back in my day, and I'm still talking back in born culture of esteem. Yeah, now see, now look, it's, this will say a lot come in his own good time. Because see, to me, by born culture, right? This type of culture, what I'm talking about, was already starting to, because see, different things happen. See, first of all, look, this is like, see how you saying right now, right? See, back in the days, you might be thinking this in your mind right now, right? Well, what if you ain't come to school for a couple of days? Then we came to your house to see to see why you see, that's different now. We see, like the brother said, he in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Where you at, Prince Pavu? Prince Pavu?
Peace.
Yeah,
Peace, God.
where you rest at?
Oh, now see.
Now, see, you see what I'm saying? So with people all over like that, we can't enforce. We can't enforce the culture. You understand what I'm saying? Because when I say enforce the culture, right, that's not to say like we on some police state. But see, if we are part of a civilization, right, then we got X amount of things that we do that our survival is based on. You understand what I'm saying? Like if we fishermen, right, you free to do what you want to do. But if you dump some poison in the water, we're gonna have to fuck you up. Because that's how we all survive. You understand what I'm saying? So we all got this knowledge through teaching. Well, look, even if you was born in this, you might have been born in this, but still how you got this knowledge was through teaching. You know, these was the last instructions. I'm talking about June 12, 1969. The last instructions was to teach on. And, you know, that's the way it was passed on person to person. And like I said, you know, when, you know, at one time, you know, everybody that got the knowledge is right up and down right here. So, you know, that is, you know, at the end of the day, that's what culture is, right? That's the same way how babies learn how to speak, whatever language they learn how to speak. Right? They gotta practice it. Like, see me, right? I'm pretty good at reading Spanish, but I can't really speak it like that. See, I learned how to read it in school because you know, you gotta do the concept of it. But I never would, and look, the teacher used to always say that. Yo, you gotta say it. And I was like, fuck out of here. I passed the test. You gotta pass. I don't want to speak. You see what I'm saying? But that's one of the functions of a culture, right, is to transfer knowledge over time and space. So, you know, if people is fishermen, if that's their culture, that knowledge from the great-grandfather to the grandfather to the father to the son to the great-grandson to the great-great-great-grandson, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Their culture passes that on. It's certain thing, okay, you reach a certain age, come fishing with me. Well, see, just like where we live in right now, see the Europeans, they brought their culture with them to different places. They brought what you call that? They institutions and shit. They brought their church. They brought their legal system. They changed the foods, cultivated the foods to the ones they wanted to eat. So then their culture was now in, you know, what they was calling the New World. So now, you know, we in the midst of the same thing, right? But, you know, this is, and see, I don't like this aspect, but, you know, look, for some people, you know, unfortunately, this kind of forum like this, right, over the internet is the only way you could be exposed now to some parts of the culture. But see, even this, yeah, to some degree, this is how we do it. It's easy. Not easy to, I'm somewhere, we we're not all tense, we ain't got on suits and ties. But see, you now watching me interact. You see what I'm saying? I'm just standing here talking. This is, but it's not like it'd be different if you came and you seen all of us and how we was living. And the things that we do and the things that we don't do. So, this question that you asking is, I'm going on about it for a minute because this is exactly what I've been trying to tell people about the things that cannot be translated through the internet. So I can tell you a little something, right, about cross-referencing the lessons. And then see, that's just a principle. Right? That's one that I cross-referenced right there and drew that up. But that's just a principle of cross-referencing. Now you can use it to draw up what you got to see in your life, in your space, in your time. You see what I'm saying? So to some degree, yeah, you're seeing, how I'm interacting with the people right here. But you got to see all the other stuff. Like, look, when the kids pass by, I know them. In your neighborhood, or you just sitting around saying, yo, man, these kids is fucking crazy, man. These niggas, all they do, they shooting it, are you saying peace to them? Are you, even if it's just knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, right? Are you providing some type of resource where they might could do better than what they do? That's another part of the coaching. In terms of, you don't get to see, so you see people come and, we say peace and all that, but I mean, you don't really get to see how we deal inequality. See, that's the importance of culture. See, that's why I be saying when people say, look, knowledge is understanding. Nah, bro, you got to go from knowledge to born to complete a cycle. We can see, like I said, you can have knowledge and understanding. You can have man, woman, and child, right? But what's their culture? How they treat each other? The people who have power in that cipher, right? Are they using that power to help the people, or are they using that power to abuse the people? What's the equality between them? You got people and they can kill people in their family. How's their equality? You see what I'm saying? So these are the things why, yeah, you got to get into practice. These are the reasons why, you can watch the Random Jews videos every time they come out. It's never going to be equal to you going outside and interacting with even if the brothers that you interacting with got less knowledge than me. See, here's the thing. This is why I love the knowledge degree. See, as long as y'all know the child of God and y'all stick to righteousness and being right, see, all the rest of this, y'all gonna live your life and build up understanding just like I did. See, everything else, we know where that made. We know where that come from. But see, the original man, you can't, what's the formula? Because there wasn't nobody here to write it down before us. So see, you could never get that. You see, the rest of just, how me drawing up the wisdom equality degree. You can draw it up. But you got to when y'all go out there and interact, because look at it this way. There's been multiple civilizations, right? I'm talking about like Sumerian, Egyptian, et cetera, right? Over varying times. So look, this civilization over here, they built their stuff up. And then these people over here, they started from scratch. But what did they have? They had themselves. They had the fact that they was the original man, right? And they was about righteousness and doing what's right. So then they was able to build up their own civilization. But you got to start with one. So, don't get caught up in the fancy talking. Don't get caught up in just that, what would you expect? I've been doing this 37 years, right? You would expect that over that time, I've seen some examples of things that I could articulate what's the right way to go and what's the wrong way to go. But that's all that is. You see what I'm saying? I'm not the sum of these, facts or whatever I'm saying. Like if somebody hit me in my head right now, right? And I forget, see, I'm still the Christ. See, you just give me the paper and I study 120 lessons and learn it again. You see, you can pass that paper all around the world. If the people don't have the knowledge of who they are and what their perspective is in the universe, then they'll never see it. Not what I seen in it. But that's the culture, man. Those are just some of the things, but I'm just, this was about growth and development. Like, see, even that, when brothers say, look, what you doing, you maintain it. And one time brothers say that, listen, it's only building and destroying. It ain't no maintaining. Like I was telling brothers yesterday, when you came around to older brothers, that would be like the second or third question they ask you. Like, peace, young guy, how you doing? Yeah, what degrees you on now, guy? How you see it, guy? Give me that degree real quick. And then when you quote it, right, then they'll drop science on you, pertaining to that degree. Brothers made sure that you dealt with growth and development, and you made sure you dealt with growth and development if that's what you was about. But that was a very, I understand now. You've been asking me this question actually over a couple of days, and I'm just now getting the full understanding of what you're saying. But yeah, that's the culture part, guy. Beyond just the talking and saying, right, that the culture is our God, what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? What does that entail? You know what I'm saying? Like when you look at different people, they from different cultures, right? And you could tell certain things like, oh, you got that kind of hat on, you from that place. You got those kind of shoes on, they from that place. Their hair's cut a certain way, they got certain tattoos, they from this place or that place. Right? That's what is entailed in their culture. See, like, look, the Italians, well, the Italians got it from the Chinese, but I'm saying my point is the Italians and the Chinese both eat pasta. But if you take, the Chinese people don't eat cheese. Asian people do not really eat cheese because there's some kind of enzyme in the milk that everybody can't digest. And being that they didn't domesticate the cow in Asia before a certain time, the population of Asian people don't have whatever acid in their stomach to break down that enzyme in the milk. So see, you can make your finest Italian dish with cheese in it, and you give it to somebody from Asia, and it's, yo, bro, this is horrible, man. See, if I tell you I'm taking you to a Jamaican restaurant, and you get there and they serving Thai food, you might even say, yo, look, this Thai food is all right, but this is a horrible Jamaican restaurant. Like if somebody asked you, you like, yo, is Jamaican food around here? Yeah, I'm going there. They got some good ass Thai food. Like, we want some Thai food. So that's why you have to understand that, yeah, culture is a certain set of things, right? It's a certain set of practices, and you can see it sometimes as culture develop, right? This is what I'm saying. Check this out. When you first get the knowledge, it's some shit that, you don't really have that much of an affinity for it. But then over time, right, which culture is what? Customs. You become accustomed to some shit that you like, yo, that clown is dope, man. Or you might even see, in the type of things that you attracted to for entertainment. See, like right now, I can really only watch documentaries. Like all that Marvel Universe shit, you catch me watching that. And look, shout out to people, people in the comics and all that. I'm just saying for me, right? This type of, this escapism type of entertainment, right, became less and less attractive to me. You know what I'm saying? And things where it's like, yeah, it's holding my attention, but I'm getting knowledge and wisdom became more and more attractive to me. I used to hate the news. You would never see me watching nothing on TV like drama. Get out of here. I'm only watching sitcoms and cartoons. But as time and growth and development in that direction happen, you know what I mean? Yeah, now I don't even, all I want to see is Gil Noble. So yeah, I took too long with that topic, but back to in here. Double Edge said, I'm dealing with a brother now who chooses to remain ignorant. Slowly but surely he's coming along. It's different from when I got it in now why and now Jerusalem. I grew up with the gods and had to interact every day. Where I'm at now, there's not many gods down here, so he doesn't get it the same way. Now, see, look, I'm gonna tell you something that we built on yesterday. You know, you can't want the knowledge for somebody more than they want for themselves. You see, what's gonna happen is you're gonna start relaxing the requirements. You're gonna start being soft on them, right? In order, because you're thinking that, you know, all you got, if you give them this little, nah. If they don't want it, you gotta keep living it out. You already told him. And if he doesn't see it in himself, then he's not one of us, G. If he doesn't see, you already told him. Now you gotta live it out. That's how I do. I tell you, I done told you. Now, every time you get caught up, yeah, I told you. That's the kind of you could be fucked up. That's the kind of I'm a I told you so kind of motherfucker. See, because the earth weighs 6 tons, bro. If he's a grown man, he's got his own 6 tons. Not carrying that. See, we said this yesterday too. You can warn the wicked from his wicked way, but you can't make him do righteous. So now you just gotta see you living it out. And if he don't see the difference, he ain't never gonna see it for you talking. See, you didn't show them. Now you gotta prove it. And if he still don't bear witness, it ain't for him. You know, if you talking about babies now, if you talking about somebody 13, 14, you know, yeah, you get, of course. Because we know that this person's brain is not even formed all the way for them to have knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So of course you have to lend them, you know, whatever aid. But these grown people, you gotta get rid of them. Yeah, that's a science right there too. Double-edged. Light travels faster than sound. But here's a question though here, right? Here's the question, right? Does the light that I'm manifesting travel faster than the sound that I'm using to manifest? What y'all know about that? See, look, we're gonna end it right there. That's it. That's it. Game over right there. Game over right there. So when we come back, we see if y'all caught that one. So yeah, shout out. We had a couple new people in here. You know, welcome to the channel. You know, hit the like button, subscribe. You know, other than that, for the new people that came in, you know, this was a decent one. We had the brother Double Edge. You know, Double Edge came in with you know, a good question about where do we get that from, that EU means hillside and ROPE means the rope to binding. We covered the science of mathematics and using that to simplify some of the things in 120, right, and bring it up to date, right? So, you can go back and this right here, and what year was that? We covered some other things in the culture degree, the wisdom degree, and the 114. And then at the end, we had the brother Prince Powerful come in and ask a good question in terms of, you got the knowledge and the wisdom, you know what I'm saying? And you see these, you got the lessons and everything, but how do you really develop your power? You know what I'm saying? Your power is your ability to direct and focus this energy, right? And the answer is through the coaching. You know what I'm saying? Through the actual practice that we have of manifesting wisdom through words and through actions, right? You begin to develop, because some of this stuff, you got to live it out. There's some things that, even if you understand it, right? You get a basic understanding of what was said. You don't have the full understanding until you've been in that situation and had to operate. You know what I'm saying? So, we covered some of that, and some of the, some of the things that I experienced, growing up in the culture. And so we ended it with that, and we'll see if anybody can answer that question, right? Does the light and what I'm manifesting travel faster than the sound that I'm using to manifest it? And with that, we're going to sign off and say peace.